Okay, so here we are. I am restarting. Welcome back. Welcome, thrill seekers. I am working on another Suno project. I've been doing this new vibe of smooth jazz. And my father and I both love smooth jazz, have since the 80s, actually, when it was really being, really had become popular, late 70s on into certainly the 80s. Uh, but most of the stuff I've been doing is instrumental. And here I will show you a little bit of what I've been doing. Here's one. So you get the idea. And then I've done a couple with lyrics. Uh, and that has been pretty interesting. The most recent one, which I just finished, is I'll play you a little bit of this one.
We're sitting on the sand. The day is almost done. Enjoying the soft fresh air and a lovely setting sun. You asked me to move closer and massage your feet while the waves pound out their syncopated beat. The waves pound out their syncopated beat.
So you get the idea, and actually I wrote the lyrics. Now, it's I've been taking, with Suno, I've been taking my old music. I'm always, even though it doesn't really like the original music. No, that's not the original music. The original music I've been using something like, is this it? Yeah. Very unrhythmic and whatever, but it has, I think it's using the key or whatever, and then it's creating the smooth jazz music. And then if I don't write lyrics, it just comes up with the saxophone parts and the drums and the whatever. And it basically writes the song based on my original song. So there is some originality on my end, but not much, to be honest. But what I am doing is going through and deleting things that I don't like, or fixing things that the AI gets wrong or that I just don't like. And sometimes, as I say, I do reject certain tracks. So I am not totally relying on the AI. I really hate the idea of not being able to afford, like, to bring musicians into a recording studio, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, so it's not guiltless, but in any event, I've been creating these, and I've decided for the smooth jazz stuff on these albums, I have to create at least 2 songs on every album that have lyrics. And like that one that you just were hearing,
Are busy singing our song. Are busy singing. Now the seagulls are busy singing our song. The seagulls are
busy singing our song. I mean, if I say so myself, I came up with some pretty good lyrics, but it took a while. And compared to just the instrumentals, it's generally a lot of work. And I thought to myself, what if I just create one that just takes me a few minutes and doesn't have a lot of complicated lyrics? It's just the vibe of the beach or whatever. And that was quite successful in some smooth jazz circles back in the day. And it's become, I asked ChatGPT, by the way, actually I asked Grok, if smooth jazz is still popular, if it's still like a viable genre, basically, in so many words. And it came back with, it's not, it won't be a chart topper type thing or anything like that, but there is quite an audience, quite a large audience for it. And it's gotten there's been a little bit of a resurgence lately. And also the term yacht rock sort of came later. They didn't have that. I don't think they had that term back then. And it contained, it'd be like people like Christopher Cross and Kenny G and, that sort of smooth jazz vibe. And I thought, well, the first thing I thought of was the Yacht Rockers, and there's already a group out of St. Louis called the Yacht Rockers, so that didn't work. Pardon me, I blew my nose. And so I asked ChatGPT, did ask ChatGPT if there are any competing, I came up with this idea, and I thought, let's make sure there's nobody else using that. And they were. Yeah. And then I finally cut to the chase. I came up with a lot of different things, and ChatGPT gave me some ideas. And I came up, both we worked together and came up with, it's called the Midnight Regatta Project, the Midnight Regatta Project. And that I came up with Midnight Regatta after ChatGPT came up with Regatta, came up with Midnight something and Moonlit, and then yeah, Regatta a couple times, once or twice. And then I like that. And Regatta is like a group of ships, and it sounds kind of romantic. And then with the midnight regatta, but then there's already there are midnight regattas that happen, and they're listed that way. So search could come up with that. And then also, I think there's a song called Midnight Regatta that somebody came up with, but not a group. If there were, I wouldn't use it. And then ChatGPT had the idea of the Midnight Regatta Project, and it gave a lot of green check marks for that, like, you know, basically no competition and no, almost just virtually no trademark issues, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's what I went with. And I'm going to, buy the domain. By the time anybody hears this and sees this, I will have already purchased the domain. But anyway, so it's fun stuff. Now, the reason I'm making this video is to show you a little bit of a dog leg, a little left turn. I decided on, as I say, creating something super. I think I was thinking of only at first coming up with 3 words, like just vibing the ocean, or sailing to you, and then that would, or not, maybe that probably would require more lyrics, but I mean just making it about a vibe. So I thought warm vibrations. I'm feeling it could be considered sexual, but it's not. There's a basically I'm feeling. I haven't played it yet. Suno has now created something. I haven't. I thought I'd play it with you guys. I'd share it with you guys. But I'm feeling. I'm feeling warm vibration, warm vibration, warm vibration. The sun, the sea, and you. It's easy to see it's true. I'm feeling. I'm feeling warm vibration. It's very stupid, and some hit songs have been very stupid. As far as non-intelligent lyrics. At the end of the day, I just have to say, life's but a dream. But we glide along, while we glide along this strip stream. I was going to say, while I glide along. I could say, gliding along this slipstream. Life's but a dream. Glide. While that brings the other individual into it, makes it a little more romantic. When I hear it and see how it performs it, I can make a change. That's the wild thing. It's like I'm going into a recording studio and hiring the best saxophonist in Dallas. I live in the Dallas area. And the best drummers and, bass players. And I mean, just like the best of the best. Let's see how many minutes. Okay, and it's recording. I just want to make sure it's recording. All right, let's take a listen together. Here we go. They always outputs 2. I uploaded this probably a very droning track. It's just very droning, it's new age. And it did very well as healing ambient music, and then Pandora shut that down, and that's where all my income just dropped off. So I've been started off repurposing it humanly, and then adding Suno with instruments and stuff. I've been able to do things like Celtic vibe, just straight new age with piano, and then some classical. I've done some classical. I did a little Indian, an album of mostly like Indian instruments, India, as opposed to Native American. And then this is smooth jazz. And then my dad sent me an email, and this was what sparked this whole thing. He said, and I love it too, but he said something like, I could really get into this. Like this is, and he hasn't done that with most of my music. He doesn't usually vibe with most of the new age stuff. But he said, this is the kind of stuff I listen to. I'll be listening to this more than once or more than twice, something like that. And I thought, that just did it. I went, okay, I'm going to create. And I was first going to just release it as R.A. Ross, but it's so different from the new age stuff. It's some of the same listeners, but it's a different genre, quite different. Even though, again, a similar audience, there's a little bit of a similar vibe to new age, but not much. It really is. There's enough the jazz and the drums and the sax. You don't have those kind of things generally in new age music, strictly electronic kind of new age music, which is what R.A. Ross is known for. So, Midnight Regatta Project. All right, here we go. Thanks for listening to the preamble. Some of these intros are pretty long, by the way.
I'm feeling warm vibrations, warm vibrations, warm vibrations. The sun, the sea, and you. It's easy to see it's true.
It doesn't get past me how much of a miracle this is.
Warm vibrations, these warm vibrations, warm vibrations. Yeah. At the end of the day, I just have to say, life is but a dream while we glide along this slipstream. The sun, the sea, and you. It's easy to see it's true. Why I'm feeling
Okay, first of all, obviously, this is amazing. Like amazing. You know how much it would cost me to have all those players and a singer of that caliber to come into a recording studio to record my song for me and to even help me write it, you know, take my original droning thing and actually like create all that. And then like be able to have full 100% rights to the release of it without having to pay any royalties to Suno or all any of these musicians, which are all in a box, robots. But how much it would cost me? Well over $1,000. And I'm laughing. It's like that could be several grand. Like for buyouts on all those musicians, just session musicians, and then how many takes it would take to get all that right. Anyway, one of the reasons I stopped it is there's like it sounds like an alarm goes off or something, and sometimes the AI will throw you curveballs like that. Now, by the way, it missed that instrumental section. I changed the wording to see if that'll fix it, but I can possibly copy and paste some of this instrumental into there if I can get it right on the beats, which I'm pretty good at when I work with it. I can usually figure something out. But anyway, let's listen to that alarm thing again together. Of course, I would fade it out. I could fade it out even before that comes, or I can edit it out. There, I guess you probably heard that. It sounds a little like an alarm going off. Ooh, that's one of the better endings that Suno has done. A lot of times it'll end prematurely. All right, now that was the first one it did. Now let's listen to the second one.
I'm feeling, I'm feeling, you know I'm feeling warm vibrations, warm vibrations, warm vibrations. The sun, the sea, and you. It's easy to see, it's true. Why I'm feeling, I'm feeling, you know I'm feeling warm vibrations, these warm vibrations, warm vibrations.
Okay, this one is nice too. The other one has, for me, it seems like I'm liking it better. That's one of the problems. Talk about a problem, first world problem, is that I might have a hard time deciding which one. But by the way, stupid is as stupid does. Stupid is as stupid does, or however uh, Tom Hanks said that in the uh, the film where he played Forrest Gump, and that's the name of the film as well. By the way, if you notice, there's a delay here. I clicked that already. where it says download file, and there's just a delay, sometimes a very long delay, sometimes not so long. But I think they're going to fix that eventually. But that's just a real snag. And if I click it again, it'll just do it twice. It doesn't speed it up. Here we go, finally. So I'll do that. We'll call this 2, and I'll call this one will be 434. See, that's how I can figure out which version it is. Yeah. So there it is. We could cut to the chase and listen to that one ends pretty well. Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool. So save that. I'll take a listen to it later. And then I have Warm Vibrations 1. Now we haven't heard to see whether with Warm Vibrations 2 there's more of a musical interlude. This is one where and this is, all right. Let's take a look. Listen to 2. It's longer. It might be.
While we glide along this slipstream, the sun, the sea.
Well, that sounds pretty good. I mean, it's going to be hard.
Vibrations, these warm vibrations, warm vibrations.
Better. Sounds like it did it. I think the next line should be at the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
Okay, it did it. That I like. And just to let's get a vibe of the first one. And I don't really, I have the other two, now I have 2 more that it did. It's crazy. These are like full recording session. That's crazy. Now let's get the other.
While we glide along.
I already, just from that, I like number 1 better. So I might take. Oh, that's the alarm. There you go with it's like everything is so, that's the thing with AI. Sometimes everything is so perfect and then it'll throw you this really strange curveball. Same with images. It creates amazing images and then it'll just do something totally, I hate to use the R word, let's just say stupid. I'm going to pause this and see if I can show you. Okay, this is not a great example of how stupid it can get, but here I say, here's your photo, I say, take this image and make it photorealistic with the guitar on the left part of the rainforest. Like it wouldn't, where, do I have the guitar? Yeah, here it is. So, where is it? Higher up here? I kept trying. No, it's not here. I don't know where it is. But I tried to get the guitar to move to the left, and it wouldn't. I think it was one of these others, these other chats here. Anyway, so what I did is I said, take this image and make it photorealistic with the guitar on the left part of the rainforest and the trees more like willow trees. Now it did, so here's what it did. Here's your photo with guitar on the left and the trees resembling willow trees, and it didn't do it. There is no change here. Please follow the instructions. It brought in the willow trees, but it left the guitar on the right. I finally went into a new chat and I forgot where it is, and just uploaded the image again and tried again, and it worked. But it took a while to get that over there. Now, that's not that, quote, stupid, and it did do a very good job with the willow trees. I mean, but everything else is so amazing. Like, wow, so beautiful. So that's back like with this. Everything is so beautiful, and then it'll sometimes throw in worse anomalies than this. You'll notice right after this point, right here, I'll make a marker. Right after this point, it gets clean again. But let me show you. So you can see how amazing this is. Now, a lot of times what I've been doing, when the endings don't beg me to leave them in, however their endings go, the endings, like this is going to be six one, half dozen the other, because here's what I usually do, although I'll figure it out later with you guys without being recording. But let me, this is what I would most of the time do. So, start I think you get the idea. Now, you notice that anomaly happens right around here. So, what I could do, as long as it's a 3-minute song, they say 3 minutes, and I really have noticed that now that I'm working so intimately with my droning stuff, you can go 10 minutes. With my New Age, with some of the meditative stuff, you can go 10 minutes or even longer, even an hour sometimes. But with this kind of music, you can't just go on and on. And 3 minutes, they say a 3-minute song is the sweet spot, or maybe it's 3 minutes or a little more, sometimes a little less. And I've noticed that. And when you get past the 3-minute point, it's kind of going, I think I'm ready to hear the next one. Now, see, I could just to show you guys, I like to do it twice because it makes more of a swoop for whatever reason. And so I'll play you, now that it should happen before the anomaly to go. That sounds really good, and that's probably where I will end that if I used this version. This is the first version that I really liked. So it's right a little after 3 minutes, 3:05, 3:06, 3:07, right about 3:07.5.
307.5 on your radio dial.
So what I'm going to do for now, though, is undo and put it back to the way it was. I like to make the windows sound. It's kind of a habit I have. All right. While we still have some time left. Version 2 is beautiful, but it's not it doesn't get me feeling the vibe, the real warm vibration vibe, if you will. Not to be corny, but Whereas the other one is more like pedestrian. It's good, and it could totally be on the radio or whatever, but the first one was more dynamic. And as I said, I played just like 2 or 3 seconds of it and went, yeah, oh yeah, I woke up. All right, now here are the two I made with the change of the, instrumental thing section. These are long.